Please welcome Pamela and the panelists. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. You can hear me okay, can't you? It's my really great pleasure to introduce you to these three impressive women. I think you're going to be amazed when you hear what I have to tell you about them. But if you think you know about them, you probably don't know all this stuff. I mean, nothing personal, but they're really, really prolific. Jessica Bartzell-Inclán has published a romance novel a year since 2001. Through 2006, she published 6 novels. Then she worked on 2 trilogies, and the final book in the second trilogy, The Beautiful Being, came out this month. These days, she's working on a contemporary novel as well as on another romance. So she's working in and out of what we're calling the ghetto. So I look forward to talking to her about that. Are you turn to genre writing, or were you always interested in? We'll start with Jessica. Were you always interested in romance writing?
Actually, my first 6 novels are not romance. They're contemporary fiction. My publisher was New American Library, so I had what I thought was a novel. And it's about a girl who hides her pregnancy and has the baby at home. And when I began to market that, I found that because I had a protagonist that was 15, I was suddenly a young adult writer. You know, so and I thought, oh, I just wrote a novel and it happened to have a 15-year-old in it, but no, it's young adult. Well, it ended up being published in the mainstream. But I write fast, and my former agent really represents a number of romance writers. She said, well, why don't you write a romance? And I hadn't read one since high school, so I read 100 romances one summer, very strange summer. I realized that I remembered the format and just started to do it. And I didn't do anything differently than when I write. I just wrote with a format in mind. And that's when I found that once you step into the genre pool, certain things start happening to you. And it's hard to then come back out of being in a genre. At least I've found that now.
So I find that interesting. So I have to say, we're calling this panel genre writing, literary ghetto, or publishing opportunity. Well, we picked that word ghetto. None of the guests did. So I have to ask them about that. Do you feel that by writing genre fiction, your work is ghetto-like?
I had to convince my little hometown of Orinda Books. I love the people there, but they didn't carry. When I walked in, she said, well, go over to writing. But, so in terms of the word ghetto, if you want to use it for all that word is worth, that absolutely romance gets funneled right into there, but yet it really is holding up so much of the market right now. Book market. People go into Walmart, and I've actually seen romance readers with baskets in Barnes & Noble. Baskets, I remember looking at this woman. She goes, "Oh, well, I read all of these in a month, and then I get them to the old folks' home." So I mean, there are people buying these books. Women's fiction is right up there in terms of what's selling in this country. Romance is in the billions. I find it a real contradiction that here is this great market that is supporting so much, traffic in books, but yet there isn't even the crime beat or the little. There's very little space at all. In fact, some magazines, my publicist said, well, they don't even look at romance. If you send them, they won't even read the romance. It's no space.
Clearly, financial success is a negative point.
It's really bad. Right. It's very bad.
But not for you as a publisher.
Yeah. Within the romance categories, it's contemporary, paranormal, and urban fantasy. It goes on, and some of those categories are looked upon more highly than others, and erotica kind of gets marginalized, and people look down on. Paranormal, with all the vampires, was being looked down on, and then True Blood came out on HBO, and now everyone's rewriting the vampire romance, and so it is you're labeled, you know, and it's not necessarily, it's for the marketing purposes, really, for the buyers, right on the spine. What are you buying?
Now, in romance, do you come across the same debate of pseudonyms?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Oh, people are
if
writing.
you're writing something different, it's good to have a pseudonym so
Yes.
that you're not confused. You don't want the readers confused, I've been told this.
No, readers get, and this one woman from Georgia wrote me a very angry letter after my 7th novel, which was a romance, and she said, I am waiting for the real Jessica Barksdale and Glenn books to come back. You know, she picked up When You Believe, my first romance, and was horrified, actually, that I had done something else. And this notion of being someone else can be very useful, because then you can hide from whatever aspersions come your way from writing in this new genre.
I was thinking it's kind of there's a big plus as well as a minus of being in the so-called ghetto, and one of the pluses in a way is that you have a group of readers who like that category of fiction, and they're kind of there for you. In a way, it's a great compliment to you that your reader was so upset.
She didn't write until she was mad.
Oh, exactly. Are you kidding? I worked on magazines for years and years. You know, those letters are always complaining. Or they ever say, love that article. You got that piece wrong. So, you know, but, or they would say, oh, what have you done to our magazine? And this is what I was thinking about, you know, the real, yeah, because, you know, she fell in love with your book, so there's a passion there. And, well, I'll ask you one last question and then open it up. How would you like us to view your work?
I think it's coming to the book without preconceived ideas. I wonder how many people have actually picked up a romance novel in recent years and actually read one without thinking, oh, this is schlock, or I can get it at Rite Aid. So this idea of just picking it up and reading it kind of with an open mind, as opposed to predetermining what the content of the book is before you even try it. And I think I've learned a lot. That one summer where I read 100 romances, I learned that just as with any genre, with literary fiction or poetry or whatever you have, there's some beautiful stuff, and there's stuff that really sucks. And a lot of different levels of writing get published in every genre. Things that you don't want to read because you don't like the writing, regardless of what the genre is.